Hello, welcome back to our lecture series on circuits and networks. So, already we had completed three, not three, three or four prerequisite class in circuits and network. Uh, After that, now we are entering to the syllabus-wise topics of the circuits and networks. So, this is the first lecture from the module 1, and in this lecture we are mainly dealing with the basic type of sources. Actually, in the previous classes, that is the prerequisite classes, uh, we already discussed about various components that we are dealing in a circuits and networks class. We broadly classified them as passive elements and active elements. Passive elements are elements like resistor, inductor, capacitor, etc. And we know that they are those elements will consume power from the source. They don't have the ability to produce power, so they are just trying to uh, convert power from one form to another form, or they are dissipating energy. A resistor is basically a device which is dissipating energy in form of heat or other losses. And inductor and capacitor, we know that they are converting devices from one form of energy to another form. Inductor is converting from electrical energy to electromagnetic form, and capacitor is converting electric energy to electrostatic domain. So these things are we already discussed in the previous classes. Now we are coming to the session of active elements. Active elements are sources. They may be simply we can say voltage source, current source, but they are not only just we can just classify them simply like voltage source and current source. They are much other classifications. Now we are going to discuss about those classifications in detail. So first of all, basically we can tell any source as ideal source and practical source. We all like ideal sources for analyzing, for studying. It is very easy to study a ideal source because it is just in papers. We can see an ideal source in a real-time experiment or real-time circuit. They all are actually practical sources. Practical source. So even it is a voltage source or current source, whatever. Uh, Basically, we will start from concept of ideal source, and then we will come to practical sources. What are the difference from while we are turning into the real-time scenario? That is while we are discussing about the practical cases. Okay, so we can start it. So sources. First, we are discussing about voltage source, and the slide shows the figure of an ideal voltage source. So first of all, what do you mean by a voltage source? A voltage source may be a generator or a battery. All those things are example for a voltage source. So if you are having a battery with you and you are connecting plus terminal to a electric lamp, plus and plus terminal to for a DC lamp, and its minus terminal is also connected to the same lamp. So we know that the current from the voltage source will pass through the lamp. Okay. Now the A, B are the terminals of battery. You can in the figure you can see that terminal A and terminal B. The A and B are sources. Okay. Sorry. A and B are the terminals of the source. So now there is two voltages we can see in the figure. One is the voltage that is I am showing here. It is V, and also I will get a voltage across the terminal that is known as VAB. Actually, what is the difference between these two? V is the voltage that the source can deliver ideally. If it is a 1.5 volts battery you are having, then you can say V is always 1.5 volt. And in the case of an ideal voltage source, It is the main thing. Its internal resistance is always equal to 0. Internal resistance is always equal to 0. In that case, you will always get the 1.5 volt irrespective of the current that coming out from the battery. I think it makes sense. That is, I will detail. So if you are replacing the simple lamp and you are placing some big lamp, what happened? Logically, you leave the resistance of lamp and all. Logically, if you are placing a lamp with some high power rating, what happened? More current will come out from the battery. Okay, but if you are having an ideal voltage source, whatever may be the current coming out of it, it doesn't matters, but its voltage will be always that particular specified terminal input voltage V. If we are considering the case of battery with 1.5 volt, you whatever may be the load you are connecting, but its output voltage will always 1.5. Now we can see the graph. Here it is a graph. You can see that the current is varying throughout the x-axis. Whatever may be the current, here it is current is a very small value. Now it is somewhat bigger value, but whatever may be the current, the voltage is always a constant voltage. So voltage may be always, if it is a 1.5 volts battery, its voltage will be always 1.5, whatever may be the resistance you are connecting across the terminals A and B. I think it is clear. So this is my question. Is it possible in a practical scenario? Is it exactly impossible in a practical scenario? In a practical scenario, if you are connecting another voltage, if you are connecting another, sorry, not another voltage, if you are connecting another resistance across the AB, definitely the terminal voltage value will vary some at a small extent. It will not vary in such a wide range, but it will slightly vary based on the change in current. Okay, now we can see the case of okay, now we can discuss an example. Okay, take now you can see that now you are connecting a particular resistor across the terminals A and B, and the resistance value is given in the problem, that is 1 1 ohm resistor you are connecting, and the voltage of the voltage of the battery is given as 50 volt. Okay, so now you can calculate the current coming out of the battery. What is the equation of current? I think you all know from basic from the Ohm's law, V is equal to IR, I is equal to V by R. Here we are having only one resistance, so no need to calculate equivalent resistance and all. So the total resistance of the circuit is just that 1 ohm. So I is equal to V by RL, V by RL, that is equal to 50 by 1, that is equal to 50 ampere. So what you get is, now the current that coming out of the battery is 50 ampere. The current that coming out of the battery is 50 ampere. Okay, now what is the voltage VAB? This is the terminals, VA and VB. What is the voltage between the terminal VAB? We can find VAB by multiplying that resistance into that current passing through it, I into R. So current is 50 amps and resistance is 1 ohm. So what is VAB? 50 into 1, that is 50 volt. Okay, now what is your conclusion? If you are connecting a 1 ohm resistor with the 50 volt battery, ideal 50 volts ideal voltage source, then definitely you will get a current of 50 ampere with a voltage of 50 volt. So you have to note both the things. What is the current passing across terminal, and what is the voltage across the terminal. So now you got the voltage is 50 ampere, 50 volt, and current is 50 ampere. Now on the second case, I am increasing the resistance value. Say it is 2 ohm. You can see that we are increasing the resistance to a 2 ohm. So current is equal to total voltage by resistance, 50 by 2, that is equal to 25 ampere. Now current current decreased from 50 to 25. Okay. Now what is the VAB? VAB is equal to I into RL. Is it okay? VAB is equal to I into RL. I is 25 and RL is equal to, now in the second case, resistance is 2 ohm. So I into RL is equal to 25 into 2, that is 50 volt. Now I think you got the conclusion. So in the first case, current was 50 ampere, and in the second case, while we are interchanging the resistance, current is 25 ampere. But in both the case, the voltage across the terminals are 50 volts. So it is an ideal voltage source. Whatever may be the current, its voltage is always constant. So I think it is very clear. Now we are moving to a practical voltage source. What is the difference in the CARA? First you can check the CARA. Okay, what is the difference in CARA? Yeah, I think it is clearly visible that the CARA is not a straight line. It is slightly inclined. So the voltage value change with respect to current. What is the change? When current is increasing, the voltage value is decreasing. When current is increasing, the voltage value is decreasing. This is the practical case. If you are connecting much more loads in parallel, what happened? Yeah, think if it is a voltage, so you are having a battery, and you are in the first case you connected a 1 ohms 1 resistor. In second case you are increasing the load, so you are connecting one more resistance in parallel. What happened? One more resistance in parallel means equivalent resistance reduces. So V by R. R reduces means V by R, or current increases. So when load you are connecting more and more resistance in parallel, what happened? When we are connecting more and more resistance in parallel, equivalent resistance increases, and equivalent resistance parallel means if you are connecting 2 5 ohm in parallel, that will give 2.5 ohm. If you are connecting 2 10 ohm in parallel, that will give 5 ohm equivalent. So if you are connecting more and more resistors in parallel, its equivalent resistance value will reduce. So as an effect of that, current will also increase. V by R, current is V by R. R reduces means current increases. So when current increases, normally voltage will reduce slightly. That is the thing the CARA is showing. Now, why this is happening? This is only due to the presence of these resistance R. What is this resistance R? This is the internal resistance of voltage source. This is the internal resistance of that voltage source. So where it stands, if you are having a battery with you, can you see any extra resistance outside to that? No. Actually, it is not such a resistance. We are modeling it with such a value. Inside the battery, due to its own properties, it is showing some characteristics of a resistance. That resistance we are modeling in series with the value of that particular cell's voltage. That is the case. So if this is a battery, then the battery's plus terminal is this. This is the battery's plus terminal, and this one will be the battery's minus terminal. Remaining all other things are lying inside the battery. You don't think that this is the battery. You don't get confused that this is the battery and this resistance is connected outside to the battery. It is not like that. Everything is inside the battery, and what we can see outside the battery is just terminal A and B. That is the case. Okay. So this is the point that you should be very care about, that we are having a internal resistance with a very practical voltage source, and the value of that resistance will be normally very small. Value of that resistance will be normally very small. Now we can check some example like what we have done in the last case for understanding the concept of practical voltage source. Okay, you can read it in this example. I am considering a 50 volt cell with an internal resistance of 1 ohm, sorry, with an internal resistance of 1 ohm, small r is 1 ohm, and then lower resistance is, again it is also 1 ohm. The case is very clear. So now, first of all, we can see that here we are having two resistance. These two resistance are lying in series. So what will be the equivalent resistance? That is 1 plus 1, that is 2 ohm. So current is equal to voltage by resistance, V 50 by RL plus R, that is equal to 50 by 2, that is equal to 25 ampere. So what will be the current across the load? Current across the load is 25 ampere. Now we want to find what will be the voltage across the load. So VAB is equal to, this is not a new thing. You already know that in the previous classes we discussed about voltage division rule. If we are supplying 50 voltage from here, that 50 volt will get divided among these resistance and the load resistance. The 50 volt will get divided among these two resistance based on its value. So we can apply simply we can apply voltage division rule if we are giving 50 volt to two resistance and both the resistance having same value. So what will be the voltage across each resistance? Is simply 50 by 2. That is a simple case, and you can apply that voltage division rule. What is voltage division rule? Main voltage into resistance of the branch divided by total resistance. So 50 into resistance of the branch means 1 divided by total resistance, that is equal to by 2, 50 into 1 by 2, that will be also, you will get 25 volt. And in this case I have done another practice, that is VAB is equal to supply voltage minus what is the voltage that dropped across the internal resistance. So if we are applying 50 volts, some voltage will get lost or dropped across the internal resistance, and the remaining voltage will be obtained as output voltage VAB. So VAB is equal to total voltage minus drop across internal resistance. So 50 minus 25 into 1. Drop across resistance 1 ohm is equal to, how we can find drop? Drop is voltage, that is current into resistance. So 25 into 1. So 25 volt. Whatever this, I already explained three methods for finding the voltage across AB. You can choose any one of the method. Actually it is not three method, it is two method. In one method I am applying voltage division rule simply, and in other method we can apply Kirchhoff's voltage law. Whatever it may be, you will get a voltage of 25 volt across the terminals VAB. Now, okay. So what are the conclusion? The current, when the current across the load is 25 ampere, voltage across the load is also 25 ampere. Now you are increasing the resistance to 2 ohm. You are increasing the resistance from 1 ohm to 2 ohm. So what will be the current? Current will be voltage 50 divided by internal resistance plus load resistance. So that is equal to, okay, sorry, there is one mistake. I am increasing, mistake means, okay, you can correct it now itself. RL, now say RL is equal to 2 ohm. It is not 2 ohm, RL is equal to 4 ohm. Now say RL is equal to 4 ohm. Okay, I think you can clear it. So I is equal to 50 voltage by total resistance. Total resistance means load resistance 4 plus internal resistance 1. So it will be 4 plus 1, 5. Now what will be the current? Current will be 50 by 5, that is simply 10 ampere. So you got the current between the terminal A and B. Now what is the voltage across the terminal A and B? You can simply find okay, you can find that current by okay, you can make the same case that we have done in the last case. So current across the load is 10 ampere. So voltage will be the input voltage minus voltage what that is already dropped across the internal resistance R. Dropped means loss. So voltage across the internal resistance R is nothing but current value into that resistance, that is 10 into 1. So 10 into 1, that is 10 volt, will be dropped across that internal resistance. So what will be the voltage we obtained across the terminals, low terminals, that is equal to 50 minus 10 into 1. 10 is the current and 1 is the internal resistance of that particular source. So that will be 40 volt. And you can simply apply a voltage division rule. Whatever it is your choice to select which is the method you prefer. If it is voltage division rule, what will be the rule? The voltage across VAB is equal to 50 into resistance of that branch. What is the resistance of that branch? Means resistance of which branch on which you are finding the voltage. So you are finding VAB. So it is main voltage 50 into 1 by total resistance. What is total resistance? Total resistance means 1 plus 4, 5. So again you will get 40 volt. Sorry, not 40 volt. If you are doing like that, that will be 50 into 1 by 5. Sorry, not 50 into 1 by 5, sorry, 50 into 4 by 5, because we are finding resistance across AB, terminal AB. Terminal AB means it is 4 ohm. So 50 into 4 by 4 plus 1, that is 50 into 4 by 5. I will write here 50 into 4 by 5. What will be the answer? 50 into 4 by 5 means 10 into 4, that is 40. So you will get the same answer, 40 volt. So you can do whatever the method. You can do voltage division rule, or you can apply Kirchhoff's voltage law in such cases. So anyhow, now what is our conclusion? That is the important thing. Our conclusion is that in the previous case, in the case 1, with current of 25 ampere, we will get a voltage of 25 volt. Now with current of 10 ampere, we will get a voltage of 40 volt. That means with small current, the voltage was somewhat higher. When the current increases, the voltage value reduces to 25. Previously, with 10 ampere, voltage was 40. With 25 ampere, now the voltage is 25. So the characteristics is slightly inclined. That is the CADA we already obtained. Slightly inclined CADA. This is the inclined CADA. So this is very clear. Ideal current source. So what was the case of ideal voltage source? Please recap. In ideal voltage source, whatever may be the value of current, your voltage will be always constant. So in case of ideal current source, it is just opposite. What will be the definition? Whatever may be the voltage value of voltage, the current will be always constant. So if your source is capable for delivering a 5 ampere current, you change the load with any other values. You can connect 10 ohm or 15 ohm or 20 ohm, whatever may be the your load resistance. Based on that, your voltage may change, but your current will always remains a constant value. So it is very clear from the CADA that the current value in the CADA, you can see that the current value is always constant, but the voltage value is increasing. And it is very important to note that here we are having a resistance in parallel. In case of ideal voltage source or voltage source, we are having a internal resistance in series with that. But here, for modeling a current source, you have to connect the resistance in parallel with that. That doesn't mean that if you are opening a current source, you can see a resistance, there is some parallel path is there. It is not like that. It is a way for representing such a source. How we can bring a source to paper? That is the question. If you want to bring a current source to a paper, or you mean you have to model a current source, then you have to use a internal resistance in parallel with the source. But in case of ideal current source, there will not be such parallel path because its internal resistance will be infinite. It will having a infinite resistance. Infinite resistance means it is open circuit. No current will pass through it. You can see here. This is the case. It is having a open circuit or infinite resistance in parallel with the source. So it will not make any change. No current will pass through that path. So this is the case of ideal current source. Now we can see an example. So it is a 1 ampere current source and you are having a load with 1 kilo ohm, that is 1000 ohm. So you can both case, in case of voltage source and current source, you are always checking the condition across the terminal A and B. So in this case, what will be the current across the terminal A and B? You can simply say that in series path current will be always same. So this is a total series path. This is a series path, and in that series path current is just given here. No need to go and find separately. Current is 1 ohm, 1 ampere, that is given as the source. So you know that the 1 ampere current is the current that passing throughout the circuit. So I is equal to IL is equal to, I means the capacity of the source, IL means current in load. So as it is a series path, all the current will be same. So current I or IL will be equal to 1 ampere. Now what is the question? What will be VAB? How you can find the VAB? VAB is equal to current passing through the resistor into resistance of the resistor. That is VAB is equal to IL into RL. IL is equal to 1 ampere and RL is equal to 1 kilo ohm. So 1 into 1000. What will be the VAB? VAB will be 1000 volt. So okay, it is here. You can see that 1 into 1 kilo ohm. So VAB is equal to 1000 volt. Now I am increasing the resistance to 2 kilo ohm. What happened? Current will be always 1 ampere because it is a series path and the current is specified there. So you can take current as 1 ampere. So what will be VAB? VAB is equal to 1 into that 1 kilo ohm, that is equal to 1 into that load resistance RL, that is equal to, in this case it is 2 kilo ohm. So your voltage VAB is equal to 2000 volt. What is the conclusion? In the first case and second case, in both the cases current is 1 ampere. But in first case with 1000 volt you are getting 1 ampere. In second case with 2000 volt you are getting 1 ampere. So whatever may be the voltage, the current will be constant in case of a ideal current source. So it is very clear, you are obtaining the same data, whatever may be the voltage, current will be constant. Now we are coming to case of a practical current source. Practical current source. Okay. What is the CADA? The CADA is just same as the voltage, practical voltage source, but the axes are interchanged. In x-axis you are taking voltage and in y-axis you are taking current, but current is no more constant. Okay. In this case, current is constantly decreasing, or it is showing a slightly drooping CADA. Drooping CADA means it is reducing slightly while in the increase of x-axis value. So when voltage is increasing, current is slightly decreasing. Okay. So how we can prove that? Now you can see that here I am connecting an internal resistance. In the previous case, in the case of ideal, the internal resistance was open, but now it is not an open circuit. I am connecting a high resistance, very high resistance in series with the current source. That is the internal resistance. Very high means normally it may be given in the example also we are taking, but normally the value will be very high because what is our aim of the current source? It has to deliver current to the load. If we are representing the current source with a very low internal resistance, what happened? The entire current will pass inside the battery itself. Okay, I'm explaining it for understanding sake. It is not exactly like that. You have to understand that always connect a high resistance in parallel with the current source, and in case of ideal current source the resistance will be infinity. Okay. In this example we are taking again, okay, there is one correction. It is not 1 ampere, it is 10 ampere. Sorry, I is equal to, okay, you can correct this. I is equal to not 1 ampere, I is equal to 10 ampere. So I is equal to 10 ampere, RL is equal to 1 kilo ohm. What is RL? Load resistance is 1 kilo ohm, and small r, internal resistance, is 1 mega ohm. You should note that. Now I is not IL. IL means it is the current passing to the load. This is IL, and I means it is the current coming out from the source. Both of these current are not equal. Why? Because there is a parallel path. The I, that is the current coming out of the source, will get divided into these two parallel paths. So I will no more equal to IL. Now you have to find IL. In the previous case, you just take I is equal to IL because it is a series path. But in this case, it is not possible. You have to find IL. How you can find IL? You have to apply current division rule. In previous case, in case of a voltage source, we apply voltage division rule. In case of current source, we are applying current division rule. It is very simple. So current division rule mean current in one branch is equal to main current into resistance of opposite branch divided by total resistance. Is it okay? Yeah. So the main current is equal to 10 ampere into, you want to find the current passing through load RL. So you have to take opposite branch. So 10 into 1 mega ohm divided by 1 mega ohm plus 1 kilo ohm. Is it very clear? That will give, you can calculate it, that will give 9.99 ampere. So now you find the current that passing through the load circuit, or IL, that is equal to 9.99 ohm. Now we want to find voltage across AB. In this figure AB is not marked, but it is clear this is A and this is B. So a voltage across AB mean voltage across this resistance 1 kilo ohm. So simply you got IL. So what is VAB? VAB is equal to IL into RL. So 9.99 into 1 kilo ohm or 1000. That will give 9990 volt. So this is the point. With voltage is equal to, with current is equal to 9 point, you are discussing about current source. So with voltage is equal to 9990 volt, current is equal to 9.99 ampere. Okay, remind that point. Now we are going to second case. Now we are increasing RL to 2 kilo ohm. In the previous case it was 1 kilo ohm, 1000 ohm. Now it is 2 kilo ohm, that is 2000 ohm. And current is again the same, 10 ampere. And R is equal to, internal resistance is same, 10 into 10 raised to 6, and RL is equal to 2 kilo ohm. 2 kilo ohm means 2 into 10 raised to 3 is here, 2 into 10 raised to 3. Okay, and internal resistance is equal to 1 mega ohm. This is resistance in opposite branch, that is internal resistance 1 mega ohm. Here also there is one mistake. I is marked as 1 ampere. It is not 1 ampere. I is equal to 10 ampere. You please check that value once more because I am also confused that in both cases there is a mistake. So if I is 10 ohm, I am substituted I as 10 ohm here. So you please check it whether it is right or wrong. So take I is equal to 10 ohm and substitute. You will find current through the load IL is equal to 9.98. So load, what happened in previous case, it is 9.99. Now resistance increases and current value become 9.98. Current reduces 9.98. So with this 9.98, find the voltage across AB. Voltage across AB or voltage across load, that is IL into RL, that is equal to 9.98 into 2000. What you will get? You will get 9600 volt. 9600 volt. Now the thing is very clear. You can read the conclusion. It is here. The conclusions I am marked here. Okay, this is the conclusions. With 9900 volt, current is 9.99 ampere. And with an increased voltage, that is with 19,600 volt, current is 9.98. Current decreased by a small value. So when voltage increases, current decreases by a small value, which is very clear. So this is the practical case. So why this happened? What is the basic reason for happening this change in current? Sorry, say change in voltage. I'm sorry. This is a ideal current source and practical current source. So what is the basic reason for the change in current value? It is due to the modeling of that parallel internal resistance. Without that internal resistance, we will not get such a reading. So now it is very clear. In case of ideal current source, you have to keep internal resistance are infinity and connect in parallel, connect that infinite path with the parallel to the current source. In case of a practical current source, you have to connect internal resistance in parallel with the current source. Okay. And in ideal case, internal resistance will be infinity, though, so that parallel path will be act as an open circuit. In practical case, there will be a parallel path, but the value of resistance in the parallel path will be very high. Now I am classifying the sources in two ways. First way, we have already done voltage source and current source, and another way we have done dependent source and independent source. So this is very interesting. What is dependent and what is independent? Independent mean, you can see the figure, it is very clear. Whatever may be the change in this load circuit, the thing inside the box is load circuit. Whatever be the change in the load circuit, let the resistance 2 ohm may increase or 2 ohm may decrease, whatever it may be, the characteristics of voltage will not change. Sorry, the characteristics of source will not change, whether it may be a voltage source or current source. Source voltage or source current do not depends on any parameter in circuit. Circuit means external circuit or load. That is, up to the terminal A and B, it is a battery or source. And this is the external circuit. The thing inside the box is the external circuit or circuit. So whatever change you have done, you are doing in the circuit. So in this figure, I am showing only a single ohm circuit, single resistor circuit. It may be a very complicated circuit. Then also the same thing. You just interchange any resistance in any way, or you connect some more resistance, or you just remove some resistance. Whatever may be the thing, your voltage or current supplied by the source will not change. So simply such a case we have already practiced in the previous slides. What was it? Ideal voltage source and ideal current source. In both these cases, you increase the load resistance, but its source voltage or source current was remaining constant. So what you can say? All ideal sources are independent sources. It is a very important statement. All the ideal sources are independent sources. If RL increase, VAB remains constant. Or you redraw the case with the case of a current source. In that case, if RL increase, current will be constant. So all ideal sources are independent sources. It is a very important point. Okay. Now just read it. Okay. Now dependent sources. So it is very clear. In last case, what I have said that all the ideal sources are independent sources. So it is very clear that all practical sources are dependent, and it is very you are shown here. Okay. It is I think I can show you that in this case, what happened when you are increasing the resistance, what happened? The current value is also changing. Current value is changing. In both these cases, current value is changing. Why it happened? The main current supply from the source is dependent on parameter of the load circuit. When load resistance increases, current value get reduces. When load resistance increases, current value reduces, and vice versa. In the case of voltage source also we can show that. While we are increasing the load resistance from 1 ohm to 2 ohm, there was also a change in voltage value. So it is clear, very clear that in case of practical loads, in case of practical uh, voltage source and current source, it is perfectly depending on the value of circuit resistance. If we are having 4 resistance in parallel and you are removing one resistance, what happens? Simply the voltage or current value of the source will change. So I can simply conclude that all the practical sources are current sources, sorry, dependent sources. Now I am briefly commenting about 4 types of dependent sources. It is also very important in doing problems and all. First type is current dependent voltage source. How we can identify it as voltage source? It is very simple. You can see that there is a plus and minus. In which source we are using plus and minus notation? We are always representing voltage source with this plus and minus. But it was a circle we are using. Now it is a diamond shaped thing. So the shape change indicates this is the notation for a dependent source. Okay, we are using a diamond shaped square and we are marking plus and minus. So diamond shape means it is a dependent source, and also plus and minus means it is a voltage source. But which is the parameter that the source is depending? You can see here. Here there is a value 2ix. So this voltage source is depending a particular value 2ix. What is 2ix? From the name we can say that ix means current in some x branch. So this voltage source is depending on some other current. Its value is 2 into ix. So this voltage is depending on current. So we can say it is a current dependent voltage source. I think it is clear. Okay, it will get more clear from the next slide itself. Now here also we can see plus and minus inside the source. So it is a dependent voltage source and it is depending on 2Vx. 2Vx means it is depending on voltage of some other branch x. So it is a voltage dependent voltage source. It depends on some other voltage Vx. Okay. And the third thing, it is current dependent current source. Now we can see it is very clear that inside the diamond shape, now we are seeing a arrow mark. Arrow mark means it denotes a current source. So it is a current source and it depends on where it depends. It depends on phi into Iy. What is Iy? It is current in a branch y. So we can say this is a current source and it is depending some other current also. So it is a current dependent current source. And the last case, now also it is a current source because you can see an arrow mark inside it. It is a current source, but it is depending on phi into Vy. So it is depending on a voltage. It is a dependent current source and that is depending on a voltage source. So it is a voltage dependent current source. These are the 4 cases of dependent sources.